You know exactly what it looks like, right? Like when you think of cannabis culture on social media, there is this immediate, almost unavoidable aesthetic that just hits your feed.
Oh, absolutely. It's totally unmistakable.
Yeah, it is loud, it's visually aggressive. You've got um, blown out bass tracks playing over these crazy rapid fire jump cuts.
Right, and just huge plumes of smoke completely obscuring the lens.
Exactly. And people flexing luxury brands in some chaotic party setting. I
Mhm.
mean, it's hype culture, pure and simple, and honestly, it is exhausting.
It really is. But, it is entirely by design.
Oh, for sure.
We live in an attention economy, right? And the standard operating procedure for most creators is just straight up sensory overload.
Yeah, they want to overwhelm you.
Exactly. The goal is to be the loudest, most visually disruptive element on the screen so that you, like the person scrolling on the couch, are physically forced to stop your thumb.
Just to process the sheer volume of information being thrown at you.
Right. It's a lot.
It really is digital shouting. But imagine you are swiping through that exact chaotic feed, and suddenly you just hit a wall of absolute silence.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like the frantic music is gone, the massive smoke clouds are nowhere to be seen, the creator isn't jumping around. In fact, you can't even see their face.
That's such a stark contrast.
Right. Instead, you are looking at a static, beautifully lit frame of just a pair of hands moving with this incredible, deliberate, almost agonizing slowness.
I love that.
Agonizing slowness.
Yeah.
And it's so quiet that you can actually hear the microscopic crinkle of a rolling paper and the steady rhythmic breathing of the person behind the camera.
That is wild.
And ironically, that quietness stops you in your tracks 10 times faster than the shouting ever did.
Well, yeah, because it creates a vacuum.
A vacuum, right.
When everything else is screaming, a whisper becomes the most compelling sound in the room.
Man, that's a great way to put it.
And it really represents a fundamental shift in how to capture modern audiences. I mean, it's a masterclass in leveraging absolute focused calm as an engagement tool.
Which brings us to the actual focus of our deep dive today. We're looking at a fascinating breakdown from Nug Notes titled The Meditative Engineering of Roles with Low.
Such a good piece.
It really is. We are going to explore how a Canadian micro-influencer, who simply goes by Rolls with Low, completely bypassed the typical influencer playbook.
Oh, she totally ignored it.
Yeah, she cut through a ridiculously crowded, highly commercialized space by turning the act of joint rolling, which is, usually just treated as a quick means to an end, into this highly precise meditative art form.
Right.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the source refers to her content as the calm before combustion. And I am genuinely fascinated by how taking the action out of an action-oriented subculture actually worked.
What's fascinating here is that Lowe built a massive global presence, like a very real cultural footprint, without ever showing her face or chasing clout.
Which is so rare these days.
It's unheard of. When you remove the face of the creator, you remove the cult of personality.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right, so the viewer is no longer judging the person. They're forced to focus entirely on the process of creation.
So it shifts the whole dynamic.
Exactly. She shifts the audience's brain from passive consumption to active observation.
And it leans incredibly heavily into ASMR, right?
No, heavily.
Autonomous sensory meridian response. For you listening, if you've ever felt that strange, satisfying tingle in the back of your neck when someone whispers or taps on a piece of wood, that's ASMR.
It's a very specific feeling.
Yeah, and Lowe's videos are packed with it. Close-up mics catching the subtle textured sounds of the grind, the slow, highly intentional hand movements.
The sound design is incredible.
It is. Even her captions are different. They aren't in all caps screaming like, smash the like button.
Right, no aggressive calls to action.
None of that. They're these grounded little notes centered on gratitude, breathing, and stress release.
Yeah, it's very intentional.
But I have to ask, why does this work so well? I mean, why does taking the loudness out of a culture that literally refers to high-quality cannabis as loud actually captivate the viewer?
Well, it really comes down to the neurochemistry of the modern digital audience.
Okay, tell me more about that.
Every time you open an app, your brain is bombarded with dopamine-spiking stimuli that aggressively demand your attention.
It's like a slot machine.
It is, and it creates a low-level state of constant cognitive fatigue. We're all just tired.
So true.
What Low does is offer a neurological off-ramp.
Oh, an off-ramp. I like that.
Yeah, by slowing down the pacing to a crawl and by making the energy inviting rather than demanding, she triggers a parasympathetic nervous system response in the viewer.
So it literally calms you down physically.
Exactly. The viewer isn't being marketed to, they're being invited to decompress.
Wow.
It proves that the framing of content, like the lighting, the auditory texture, the pacing, is just as crucial as the content itself.
That makes total sense. And because the framing is so tight and her face is never shown, she had to find another way to establish a visual identity,
Right, she needed a signature.
which she does in a brilliant way.
Yeah.
The source material highlights her nail drip.
Yes, the nails.
She constantly rotates these incredibly elaborate, highly stylized manicures. And, at first glance, you might think, oh, she just likes getting her nails done.
Sure, anyone would think that.
But it's actually a cinematic anchor, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. When you are a faceless creator, you still need a visual signature, so people instantly recognize your content as it flies past them on a feed.
Right, so you know it's her immediately.
Exactly. Her nails serve a profound functional purpose. Every new set of nails provides a distinct visual identity for that specific video.
Oh, that's clever.
It creates eras. Her audience can look at a video and say, oh, this is from the matte black stiletto nail era.
That's so funny, but it works. It also gives the video this incredible visual contrast. Well, you're watching these pristine, beautifully manicured hands perform a highly tactile, slightly gritty botanical task.
Oh, right, handling the flower.
Yeah, but here's where it gets really interesting. The ASMR, the nails, the calm vibe, that is strictly just the aesthetic shell.
Right, that's just what draws you in.
Exactly. The core of what she is doing is pure, unadulterated mechanics.
The engineering.
The source literally calls it engineering the roll.
Yeah.
She isn't just throwing some weed in a paper.
Far from it.
She treats these things like architectural blueprints. The exact cone size, the specific diameter of the tip, the angle of the taper, the absolute precision of the pack density.
It's obsessive in the best way.
It is. She builds what the culture refers to as thick doinks and donut-style hash holes.
Okay, let's actually break down what a donut-style hash hole is, because that perfectly illustrates the engineering aspect.
Yeah, please do.
A hash hole is where a literal cylinder of concentrated cannabis extract is suspended perfectly in the dead center of the ground flower.
Right, so it runs right down the middle.
Exactly, running down the middle of the joint. When it burns, the concentrate melts and vaporizes, leaving a hollow hole in the ash that looks like a donut.
Hence the name.
Yeah.
But I know there is someone listening to this right now rolling their eyes thinking, come on, aren't we overcomplicating this?
Oh, I'm sure there are plenty of skeptics.
Right, like, it's just rolling a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Isn't calling it engineering just hipster pretension?
Yeah.
Is it really that deep?
I completely understand the skepticism, but if we connect this to the bigger picture, let's look at the actual thermodynamics at play here.
Okay, thermodynamics. Let's get nerdy.
This is exactly where craft elevates to engineering. The combustion temperature of dry plant matter, the flower, is completely different from the melting and vaporization point of the concentrated extract suspended in the middle of it.
Oh, I didn't even think about the temperature difference.
Right, it's huge. If the density of the flower packed around that extract isn't mathematically uniform, the heat will not distribute evenly.
So what happens if it's uneven?
The entire structural integrity fails.
Wow, really?
Yeah. If one side is packed slightly looser, oxygen flows faster through that side. The concentrate will melt aggressively toward the path of least resistance.
Which ruins the bird.
Yes, it causes the joint to canoe, meaning it burns rapidly down one side, completely ruining the airflow, the flavor, and wasting incredibly expensive material.
Ah, so it's basically the equivalent of laying the foundation for a skyscraper.
That's a great analogy.
If the soil, in this case the flour, isn't compacted evenly, the central elevator shaft, which is the hash hole, just collapses under the pressure of the heat.
Exactly. The angle of the taper dictates the air velocity. The pack density regulates the temperature.
Man, that is wild.
When you take an everyday object and apply that level of scientific rigor to its construction, it fundamentally changes how the viewer respects the creator.
Totally.
She isn't just a stoner rolling a joint. She is a structural architect working in miniature.
And a structural architect needs a solid foundation, which brings us to her tools.
Right.
Lowe refuses to use standard cardboard or paper filters.
Yeah.
She operates on a strict glass-only policy, heavily favoring artisanal high-end creators like Mothership Glass and Proper Doinks.
But the best of the best.
The Nug Notes piece emphasizes that for Lowe, a glass tip is never just a flashy accessory. It is a critical structural component.
Absolutely. From a purely functional standpoint, glass acts as a heat sink.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it dramatically cools the smoke before it hits the lungs. And unlike a paper filter, a glass tip maintains a rigid, perfectly circular diameter.
Because paper gets soggy and squished.
Exactly. Glass will never crush or collapse under the pressure of your lips or fingers, meaning the airflow remains mathematically constant from the first draw to the last.
Wow.
But beyond the physics, her choice of glass is a massive cultural signal.
Right. She's not buying mass-produced factory-line junk. By exclusively utilizing mothership glass, which, for context, is essentially the Rolex of the functional glass art world, she is anchoring herself firmly within a hyper-niche community of connoisseurs.
And that commitment to absolute quality is what drove her organic reach.
Yeah, because she's based in Canada, but she became a central figure in the global rolling conversation.
It's really impressive.
She gets organic engagement from massive cultural hubs like the FSOTD, the First Smoke of the Day podcast network.
Right, a huge platform.
She's linking up with other top-tier rollers like Twist and Terps. And she did all of this without ever playing the typical influencer game.
The source makes a very pointed observation here.
What's that?
Nothing for sale. She completely avoided the overt commercialization that plagues the influencer economy.
Yeah, you go to her page, and there is zero storefront energy.
None. She isn't pushing cheap merchandise. She isn't shoving a 10% discount code for some random gummy brand in your face.
Right, we see that everywhere.
She just highlights the creators and the tools she genuinely respects.
Okay, but let's push back on that for a second. We hear this phrase, trust is currency, all the time in digital marketing. It's Influencer 101. But you can't pay your electric bill with trust. How does a creator actually survive, let alone thrive, in a modern digital economy if they actively refuse to sell anything to their audience? I mean, it's like a bespoke tailor who refuses to sell you a suit.
That is the crucial misconception about the creator economy, though.
How so?
Most influencers try to monetize immediately. They build a small audience and instantly try to extract cash from them with cheap, drop-shipped merch.
Yeah, the classic cash grab.
Exactly. Lowe played a much longer, much more sophisticated game. By refusing to sell out, she wasn't just being noble. She was building an incredibly deep, hyper-loyal sales funnel.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Think about it. She spent years conditioning her audience to appreciate the highest quality, most expensive artisanal tools in the world. She curated a lifestyle of high-end maintenance.
Wait, all that is brilliant.
Right.
So she isn't just saying, trust me. She is creating an audience that is heavily invested, both emotionally and financially, in high-end gear.
Yeah.
Which perfectly sets the stage for the big reveal. The source material notes that today, March 18th, 2026, is the launch of her brand new, highly anticipated side project.
Yes.
It's an accessories brand called Tip Drip.
And this is the moment she transitions from a content creator curating other people's art into a product innovator solving a specific mechanical problem for her community.
So what does this all mean? Let's break down what Tip Drip actually is.
Let's do it.
It is designed specifically for glass tip collectors. It's a single-use, disposable, TSA-friendly cleaning pouch that allows you to soak and clean your artisanal glass tips on the go immediately after a session.
This raises an important question about the strategy here. To understand why this product is genius, you have to understand the specific friction point her audience faces.
Right. Think about the last time you bought a really expensive piece of gear.
Oh, anything nice.
Maybe it was a high-end camera lens or even just a really nice pair of designer sunglasses. The anxiety of keeping it pristine, especially when you are traveling, is universal.
It's so stressful.
Now apply that to Lowe's audience. You just finished smoking a beautifully engineered joint using a $100 artisanal glass tip from Mothership. You're at an event or you're in your car. What do you do with it?
Exactly. The resin left behind is incredibly sticky and pungent.
That gross.
Yeah, if you wrap it in a napkin and put it in your pocket, it gets covered in lint and ruins the glass.
Yeah.
If you throw it in a plastic Ziploc bag with some rubbing alcohol, which is what people used to do, it leaks in your bag, it smells terrible, and if you try to take a baggie of mystery liquid through airport security, the TSA is going to have a lot of questions.
Right, that is a nightmare waiting to happen. So she built a highly specific chemical and physical solution.
Exactly.
It's a hermetically sealed pouch containing a specifically formulated solvent that immediately begins breaking down the heavy carbon and resin safely.
It's so elegant.
You drop the sticky glass tip in, you seal it up, and you throw it in your bag. It doesn't leak, it doesn't smell, it passes through security checkpoints without a second glance.
And by the time you get home, your functional art piece is completely pristine.
It's brilliant.
And, it really raises a bigger point about the future of influencer-led brands.
What's that?
So many creators fail because they try to sell products completely disconnected from their core content.
Like a gaming streamer selling, I don't know, skincare.
Right, exactly. But Tip Drip is the exact opposite. It is the ultimate culmination of Lowe's entire ethos. She didn't just slap her logo on a t-shirt.
No, she solved a problem.
She realized that by creating content around the use of high-end gear, she had inadvertently created a perfectly primed market for a maintenance product.
It's the ultimate show, don't tell business model.
Absolutely.
She spent years proving to her audience that she understands the mechanics of the craft better than anyone. So when she finally steps forward and says, hey, I engineered a solution to that annoying problem we all have, the audience doesn't feel marketed to.
Right, they don't feel like they're being sold out.
They feel understood. They know she built Tip Drip to solve her own travel anxieties first, and she is just opening up the solution to the rest of the community.
It proves that the most successful product development doesn't happen in a corporate boardroom by people looking at demographic spreadsheets.
Definitely not.
It stems directly from actual lived experience within a highly specific subculture. She respected the glass as an art form, and she built a product that honors that respect.
It really is a masterclass in community building and intentional design. So let's synthesize everything we've unpacked today for you, the listener.
Yeah, let's pull it all together.
Rolls with Low looked at a noisy, crowded, highly chaotic digital feed and deliberately chose the opposite path.
She zagged when everyone else zigged.
Exactly. She slowed everything down.
Yeah.
She made people stop and watch through the sheer magnetism of patience and ASMR aesthetics.
It's beautiful, really.
She took a mundane, everyday act and subjected it to the rigors of thermodynamics and precision engineering.
True structural engineering.
And most importantly, she hoarded her trust. She refused to sell cheap merchandise, which allowed her to curate an audience that deeply valued high-end maintenance.
And then came the payoff.
Exactly. When the time was right, she launched Tip Drip, a smart, mechanically sound, problem-solving product that perfectly served the very community she built.
It is a powerful reminder that you do not have to shout to be heard.
So true.
In a world obsessed with scale and volume, sometimes the most commanding, disruptive thing you can do is simply quiet the noise around you. Focus obsessively on the granular details of your craft and let the undeniable quality of your work dictate your value.
I love that. Before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a thought to mull over as you go about the rest of your day.
Yeah.
Think about a mundane, everyday task that you usually rush through just to get it done.
Like what?
Maybe it's making your morning pour-over coffee, or folding your laundry, or even just washing the dishes.
The boring stuff.
Yeah, the boring stuff. But if you took a page out of Lowe's book and treated that simple, repetitive process as an opportunity for meditative engineering instead of just a chore.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Like, if you focused on the exactness of your movements, the physical mechanics of the task, the quiet rhythm of your breathing, how much more peace or even art could you extract from your own daily routine?
That is a wonderful perspective to take away and highly applicable far beyond the digital space.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into Nugnote's insights on the meditative engineering of Rolls with Low.
It's been a great conversation.
We always appreciate you taking the time to unpack these fascinating, quiet corners of culture with us. Keep questioning the noise, keep seeking the calm, and we'll catch you on the next one.